Skolzel. Left boards with it. Now left circle, back to Bedard at the midpoint, walking to the circle. Nice little move to the high slot, shoots, scores! 40th of the season for Connor Bedard. Here's Skolzel, can't poke it out. Lindstrom intercepts. It's a 3-on-0 for Medicine Hat to the net. Lindstrom, great right pad save by Drew Sim. Massive stop, and here come the Pats the other way. Suit 11 center, right side over the Medicine Hat line in the slot for Skolzel. Back across, looking for a deflection and stop. Rebound, Bedard scores! Now Bocharov to center, now taken away by Bedard. How did he make that pass to Rowan over the line? 2-on-1, left side, score! What a pass by Connor Bedard, in tight to Rowan, and he finishes off the 2-on-1.
Welcome to Pats Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. Episode number 127. It's January 29th. Pats are coming off a real tough loss. That was an ugly one. You were in the building, Kevin, and I wasn't. What was kind of the atmosphere around that game?
They were expecting a packed house. It was sold out according to the website and stuff like that, but it was for a packed house. It was pretty quiet. Like I couldn't get over how quiet it was. There was cheering when they had the little make some noise or whatever on the screen. There was cheering, and you hear the kids screaming and hollering and stuff, but it wasn't quite like the previous sellout where it was loud and like the crowd was right into it. Even when the Pats were up, it wasn't a normal sellout kind of noise in the crowd. It was just, there was no rumbling, no every time Bedard touched the puck, there was no hum, buzz or anything. It was different.
Yeah, and being a Sunday afternoon, I could see it on the broadcast. There was lots of kids there, and usually kids bring that extra little bit of noise, don't they?
Yeah, and like I said, when they had to make some noise, there was noise. It was loud.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was just kind of a normal, average sounding Pats crowd, which is unfortunate. But
interesting. Crowd was more made up of I don't want to say part-time fans, but like maybe people that haven't gone to a game. So, obviously,
yeah, just there to see Connor Bedard.
Yeah, just to see him or one game, so they're not maybe as well versed into what the team is doing or along those lines. But I mean, like, the Pats come out and it's a good start for the Pats. The game I thought it's an exciting game. John mentioned it, and we played that clip last week that it's going to be a fast-paced game. He was expecting a fast-paced game, and it was. That first period was back and forth. I thought it was a really good period for the Pats.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was actually a really good period overall, both ways. Like,
yeah,
there was opportunities, both teams had opportunities, and Bedard potted two, of course. Surprise. Yeah, and Bocharov scored near the end. He scored to get the Tigers back in the game, and then Rowan scored late, and I thought that was the key that was going to carry the Pats to the win. But as most people already know, it didn't. Yeah,
you get that late goal, 3-1 going to the second period. I don't think the second period was quite as good, but there was quite a few long stretches without whistles. It was kind of back and forth, and I know Haroff touched on it on the post game on the radio. He said, there wasn't a lot of zone time for either team. It was kind of just rushes back and forth, and maybe not the game that they had set out, the game plan that they had set out to play. But that's just the way it turns out, right? You can never game plan how it's actually going to turn out. But it definitely wasn't a lot of puck control in the offensive zone either way through the first two periods. It was back and forth. It was just back and forth.
There was no sustained pressure or anything like that.
It was like river hockey almost without all the grade A scoring chances, right? It was just kind of back and forth. I mean, there was a couple breakaways both ways, but nothing, not a lot of them per se, right? I mean, you look at the faceoffs, only 60 faceoffs, 68 faceoffs in the whole game. So obviously not a lot of whistles. But maybe touching on that, there was a couple losses that kind of turned the tide in this game. A couple clean face-off wins for Medicine Hat led directly to goals in the third period. Bogdan's hot ass with 2 goals in a row from the point, and that kind of was the backbreaker right there in the middle of the third period.
Yeah, the tide was turning before that when Bedard made it 4-2 with his 5th hat trick of the season.
4-1.
Crazy stat.
4-1.
4-1, sorry, 4-1. Then Basher made it 4-2. The
Yeah.
tide had started to turn.
Yeah, I did notice that after that goal.
I don't know. The Pats were trying to see, instead of just playing simple, getting passes, they're trying to be fancy and trying to hit just back passes and
yeah, there was a couple
blind passes and stuff.
Yeah, Medicine Hat really, that Basher goal really got them going, but then Regina, it seemed, pushed back after that as well. But then, like you said, there was some bad decisions. There's a couple plays where guys had the puck on their stick in the slot and they chose to pass it off. You know, you don't see that in a tighter game. You see that in a 4-2 game. You know, you're up a couple goals, or a 4-1 game, and you're thinking, okay, let me pass to my buddy.
Trying to get somebody else some stats.
Yeah,
or
right.
Trying
to get somebody else a goal or whatever. Set up a play where, you know, if it's a tie game or you're down a goal, you're not passing up that opportunity in the slot. That's a great scoring chance, no matter who's got the puck on their stick, and at any point of that game, right? So it was tough, but yeah, and like you said, the Tide. You seen the Tide turning in the second period, and they just couldn't turn it back in the third. And you look at the shots in that third period, 23 for Medicine Hat, like that. That didn't seem like
that's a ton of shots. Like
It didn't seem that the ice wasn't tilted like that. I think like it didn't seem like, it's not like Medicine Hat was controlling the whole play in the third period. Regina only had 5 shots, but it's just they like you said. Neither team really had a lot of zone time, but Medicine Hat just, you know, had lots of chances off the rush, I think, right? And that's what it more seemed like, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Their team is built that they're not the biggest team. They're young and they're fast, and their top 3 lines, even their 4th line, they just roll and they come at you. They're like waves. They're kind of like a younger version of Saskatoon, how Saskatoon will come at you. They'll constantly just pressure. They're on you, and they cause turnovers. And the Pats are turnover prone, and they have been for quite a few years now. And it's just a thing. I'm sure other teams are like that too, but it's noticeable because we watch the Pats all the time. So
yeah, and John mentioned Portland. It's going to be a similar. Yeah, it's going to be similar to the Portland game. You said, you know, little faster paced, you know, Medicine Hat doesn't have the high end skill, but you look at, they got, what'd you say, 10 guys with over 12 goals or 10 goals? Yeah, they've only got one guy with 20 goals.
I think it's 9 guys with 10 goals. Yeah,
right. But you look right down the roster, Pavel Bocharov, he's 11th in scoring, but he's got 10 goals. Like the Pats drop off after the first four or five guys, right?
They score by committee.
Yeah,
they score by committee.
They do.
I never actually looked at the roster until I got the lineup sheet. Like, I looked at the roster, but I never actually looked at the stats, and I saw that, and I'm like, there's a whole bunch of guys with quite a few points, but there's no standout numbers, but it's just 10, 10, 10, 12, 9, 7 even. Like, there's a whole bunch of guys with like 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And then one 20-goal scorer, and he hasn't played the last handful of games.
Yeah.
And they still just continue to roll.
Yeah, and I mean, they are kind of rolling right now. They've got a 4-game, I guess 6-game point streak with 4 wins and 2 overtime losses. So they've got 8, 10 points in their last 6 games. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. So I mean, they're chugging along. They've made up some ground. You can see that team's come a long way from last year. They've pretty much doubled their win output almost. I think they had 11 wins last year, so they've got 19 already this year.
They're almost twice as good as last year. That's
right.
Crazy stat. And they finished last season with 12 losses in a row or something.
Yeah,
and totally turned it around. And they're tied with the Pats for the 8th playoff spot.
11 wins last year.
The Pats have 3 games at hand, so hopefully they can make them up.
So
and bump themselves up further.
Yeah, if you want to move on right into that standings kind of situation now, do you have anything else from that game? I mean, I mean, I guess
not really.
I guess Bedard. I mean, like, man, like, what can you say? What else can you say? I mean, 3 goals. The one was the easiest goal he's ever scored, wide open net in the slot. But I mean,
that was a nice pass by Bateman to see him
on the
kind of
back
across.
door one. Yes, that was a great pass by Bateman, and he went to the net with his stick down, and he just out muscled the D-man. Like, he just had his stick on the ice, and the D-man couldn't do anything about it, and it just literally hit his stick and went in the net. He didn't even do anything, per se. But yeah, Bateman, great.
Bateman hit it and threw a nice pass there.
Yeah, great pass. I mean,
give him props for that.
Yeah, Rowan with a nice goal.
Yeah.
And I mean,
where's that been all year?
I know, right? I mean, and it was a key goal, too. 30 seconds go in the period. Medicine had just scored as well, to take back that 2-goal lead. And that was a key, at that point of the game, that was a key goal. And you're thinking, okay, 3-1 going to the first intermission, things are looking good, right?
The goal that's going to keep him steaming on, but no.
And then Sim, I mean, yes, Sim let in 5 goals tonight, but I mean, it wasn't on him, all of them, right? He made a great save before that second Bedard goal. He made a great save. It was a 3-on-0, and the guy just went in. I don't think he even realized there was 2 other guys with him, and I don't think so. He made a play, and Sim made a nice save, and they came back, and then that ended up being the Bedard second goal in the slot there. But yeah, I know the last goal for sure because they showed the replay from behind Sim. He was totally screened on the last goal, on the game winner.
Yeah, the two face-off lost goals. I think he was screened pretty good.
Yeah, I know it's a face-off. It's a face-off win for the team. Guys are going to the net. There's going to be traffic. Yeah,
there's guys moving all over the place.
Exactly. D-man got to clear those guys out, and Sim had not much of a chance on those. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is tough. Like you said, Medicine Hat's right behind the Pats now. The Pats could have used that 2 points. You got to beat those teams behind you for sure. It's tough to lose to those teams, but you're not going to win every single game.
Like we were chatting before we started recording, it was very reminiscent of a game last year.
Yeah,
where they were up, and then they just kind of fell apart. Something the wheels fall off or whatever happens, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and I mean, we hadn't seen it much at all this year, which is a nice turnaround. I mean, the Swift Current game last week was a tough one. I mean, it was only a 1-goal lead in the third period, on the road. But this one, a 4-1 lead at home, that's just tough to give up.
This is their first loss after leading after 2 periods. So they're now 19-1. They were 19-0 coming in, now they're 19-1.
Right. Yeah, we even talked about that last week because I thought they were leading after 2 last week, but the goal was early in the third. But yeah, so I guess, looking at the standings, as we said, Medicine Hat's tied with the Pats, but Pats have 3 games in hand. Lots of teams have made up those games that the Pats were, I guess, that didn't. The other teams that had games in hand compared to the Pats. You look at Swift Current is the only team with fewer games played around the Pats kind of general vicinity there, with 1 less than the Pats. But I mean, the weekend was good for the Pats on the scoreboard. Like, Calgary lost to Edmonton on Friday. Like, that's huge. Like, Edmonton's, they've only got 7 wins, and to beat Calgary, that's a huge help because the Pats are only 6 points behind Calgary at this point. Swift Current lost in Portland. Lethbridge pulled out a big win over Winnipeg, so that was tough to see, but it happens. And then Saturday night was not as good. Calgary, Medicine Hat, and Swift Current all picked up single points in overtime. But I mean, 1 point is better than picking up 2. Yeah, right. And then Sunday, Calgary also picked up another point in overtime against Winnipeg. So it was a decent weekend on the out of town scoreboard, but the Pats didn't do their part with not winning this game tonight.
Yeah, they didn't do themselves any favors, but there's still a whole bunch of games left. But they didn't do themselves any favors this week.
Yeah, I mean, but it's this week.
Yeah, it's 1 game.
I mean, we'll look at the schedule ahead, and that's key kind of later in the show here. So yeah, Bedard, 9-game goal streak now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His career longest. Pat's record is Durkach with 15.
15, so that's getting close now.
It's the way he scores, he seems to at least notch one every game or more.
Multiple,
it could be attainable. It could be attainable.
Like it's since the World Juniors, it's just been on another level, right? Like it's crazy. Like he's, what is it here? Since he's come back from the World Juniors, 6 points, 5 points, 3 points, 1 point, 2 points, 4 points. Like, and then 5.
He has 21 points in the last 6 games
since he's come back.
He's 21 points, 15 of them goals since coming back from World Juniors at 6 games. He's also got 20 goals during his 9-game goal scoring streak. He has 63 points in his last 22.
Oh.
Leads the league in goals, tied for first in assists, like 19 points up for points overall. He's got 225 shots. Just crazy number.
He only had 4 tonight. Like that's low for him.
3 of them were goals.
Yeah, I know, right? But to only have one other shot on net is
he needed to have another 8 or 9 shots.
Yeah, he could have used a few more. I mean, you look at the team's total, right? The team didn't have a lot of shots either, 25. But there's not much you can say. Like this guy is unreal. Like it's just, he made that beautiful move, like deked that guy in the slot and just broke his ankles. And then once he's there, it's top corner. Like it's almost too easy for him, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. That area is his area. If he can get a clean shot, probably 9 out of 10 times it'll go in the net.
Yeah, like this current game, on the road, like he came off the half wall and made a move and he's cutting into the slot. Well, as soon as he cut in like that, I knew he was going to score. It was just like, yeah, that's going in. Like, yeah, unreal. But I guess going into this game, he came off a game with no points, the top prospects game. Now that was a little surprising. We had put out a poll, and I was like, what should I do for points? And you're like, give 1 to 2 points and maybe 3+. And I was like, I'll push it 1 to 3. So that's kind of an obvious answer, 1 to 3 points. But 76% of the people voted that, and 21% voted 4+, and 2% nailed the answer with no points. But that was it was just an odd game, right? I mean, these guys are just thrown together. I don't think they even really had a practice per se, because they're there Monday. The game was Tuesday night, right? Wednesday night. So I think
Wednesday night, yeah.
Wednesday night, yeah. So Tuesday they do a whole bunch
they did their on ice training or
testing
skills or whatever
thing.
that stuff is. Testing.
Yeah.
You can't practice. It just seemed like a disheveled game, like a preseason game where they haven't practiced.
Yeah, it was just an ugly looking game.
Like a scrimmage. A scrimmage in training camp.
Yeah, where nobody knows anybody, right?
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It was just a weird game.
Yeah,
lots of shots. There was tons of shots, but I don't know.
I think that's maybe just a product of I don't know where anybody is, so I'm just going to shoot the puck instead of passing and stuff like that. I know I'm going to throw in a clip here that I grabbed off the radio. If Dante had an interview with him after he came back, so he kind of comments on that. And he was pretty bummed that he wasn't able to play with Andrew Crystal. He's been out with an injury for a few games now, but he did get to play with Zach Benson, the guy he played summer hockey or spring hockey with, some travel teams. But he'd played with Crystal for a long, long time through minor hockey, so maybe they could have had some chemistry. I don't know, but yeah, like I said, it's just guys thrown together, not really a practice is per se, and it's just like go out there and play. And it's just interesting setup. I've never really paid that much close attention to this game before, and I had it on and we were texting back and forth. It's like, is this an exciting game for you? And you're like, nope, this is not exciting at all. And and I was on my laptop, so I kind of just listened to it basically as if I was listening to the radio kind of thing, not paying that close attention to it. And then
yeah, I don't know. It lacked something. The whole thing lacked. I don't know what it was, but I don't know. I didn't really enjoy it overly. Sorry, CHL. I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't really. Meh, whatever.
Didn't do it for you. Didn't do it for me. I don't think we're in the minority either. So.
Yeah, it was fun. It was, obviously a lot of good players in the same game, and for us to go there and obviously be together and meet some guys from the other leagues was fun.
Andrew Crystal sadly was not able to play in that game.
Yeah, we I'd been anticipating that. Obviously we're good friends, so it sucked. He was pretty bummed out, and it sucks when someone can't play, they get hurt. But I think he watched and stuff, and he was texting me about it. But obviously it was a bummer he couldn't play.
So what was it like to compete in like your first real quote unquote all-star game? What was that kind of experience like for you, just being around all of kind of the same players in your age group in your class?
Yeah, it's fun. Obviously it's it's a little different when you don't practice together, you just kind of get there and play, obviously, but it was fun. I played with Benny the whole game, and then a few others, obviously, and so that makes it fun, obviously, when you're with those guys and playing with that talent. So I enjoyed it, and it was a cool experience.
And you had played with Zach Benson before spring hockey, right?
Yeah, for a number of years. So obviously to see what he's doing now is pretty cool, and it's fun playing with him again.
You also had the Sedins guest coaches in that game. How cool was it to kind of be around guys that you, I'm sure, idolized growing up being a Canucks fan?
Yeah, it was it was really good. I think I got to talk to Henrik a lot. He was our coach, and that was pretty cool. Obviously being from there and being a fan, they were the guys back when I was growing up and everything. So to meet them and get to talk to them was was really cool.
Connor, Mateo Michaels was able to score his first career Western Hockey League goal on Sunday, and I think his reaction kind of just explains it all. Tell us on how happy you were to see Mateo get his first in the dub.
Yeah, we were all so excited. I mean, everyone was jumping up and down on the bench and stuff. It was like a playoff overtime goal. It was it was pretty cool, and he's come so close, and he deserved one. So to finally see one go in for him was was awesome.
Last thing before I let you go, Connor, Alexander Suzulev is continuing to play miraculous hockey. He had a 3-point game on Saturday. You played with him in Sweden. Not surprised on how he has played so far this season for your group?
No, I knew coming in how good he was, and I think everyone kind of saw it from the first day of camp. He's got one of the best skill sets in the league for sure, and obviously, like you said, his one-timer from that spot's pretty automatic. So he's been unreal, and I think he's getting more used to it and playing better every single game, which is crazy to think about because we still got a lot of games left. So to see how good I'll be by the end of the year is pretty exciting.
They're auctioning some jerseys off from the game.
Yeah, that's not surprising. They usually do. Bedard's is only at 5,300 at the time of recording. It's a little low, I thought.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a weird auction. There's only like 10 jerseys up.
I think just maybe the higher end guys.
I don't even know if they're really. I don't know if you really classify anybody as a higher end other than the obvious Bedard, because everybody talks about him. That's pretty much all Craig Button talked about was Bedard, or a couple other guys from different leagues like the Ontario Hockey League and stuff. But it's almost like nobody knows this auction's going on because Bedard's jersey, the SpongeBob jersey, went for over $13,000, and it's weird.
You scroll
Team
through.
Canada went for a ton.
Yeah. But you scroll through the list here, and the other jerseys have 2 bids, 6 bids, 4 bids, 13, 18, 3, 3, 19 for Yager. He's at 800. And then Barlow, 2,000. That's the only other one that's really standing out. And then 3 bids on this other one.
Such a weird auction.
Yeah, right. It's kind of,
but
not that much interest it seems, but it is what it is.
The proceeds go to the Canadian Mental Health or Canadian Mental Health Initiatives, whatever program or whatever that goes to. But where's the people bidding? It's weird.
Yeah,
it's almost like not many people watched it, or maybe the people in the rink didn't realize, or I have no idea. It's just weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of proceeds. Jump back to the Medicine Hat game. 50-50 started at 50,000. What you say the total was 115? You said.
Yeah, it was just over 115.
So
I didn't win, so I didn't really care that much after I didn't win.
Yeah. I bought a ticket, but I didn't see the ticket.
It was $115,210.
Yeah.
Half of it went to the winner.
I seen the number on the screen, but I didn't see the total or anything or hear the total mentioned. So I messaged you. I was like, what was the total? Ooh, 150. But yeah, I didn't even have the first letter. So that was no good.
Yeah, at one point in time when the doors opened, it went from 58,000 to 68,000 within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It was just like, bam, a whole bunch of people bought tickets.
Well, I was scrolling through.
It would have been a nice one to win.
Yeah. I was scrolling through the Twitter there, and it was already like, because it opened up, because you can do it online. It opened up at whatever in the afternoon. So it was already over 55,000 before the doors even opened, right? So, but yeah, because you can buy anywhere in the province online. So, all right, heading into next week, I guess we'll touch on a few injuries. We had heard Stringer may be able to play Sunday against Medicine Hat, but that didn't happen. So it sounds like he should be back at some point on the road trip. Janelle is looking a little longer term, isn't he?
Yeah, according to the weekly report from the 24th, he's listed as 4 weeks still with an upper body injury. The good news, the Spencer's getting close. It says 1 to 2 weeks. That was 5 days ago. So hopefully it's a week. Maybe he'll be back for part of the road trip. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
And Chance is still 3 to 4 weeks away as of the 24th. So still 3 weeks there. It'd be nice to get some bodies back because they're playing with 11 and 7 still because they have no other forwards to play.
Yeah, I know. I
don't know if it's affecting them, but
John touched on that in the pregame. He likes the D-man that they're playing. I mean, they don't play the fourth line a ton, but they seem to be playing the fourth line a little more lately. But I mean, I don't know.
But it's two pieces of a fourth line.
I know, right? But you look at that, the Rowan goal, Bedard was out on that play and set him up. I mean, it's not like Bedard made that goal. Rowan made that goal. You know what I mean? It's not like it was in tap
Rowan's
in.
not fourth line, though. Rowan's third line.
Oh, okay. There, yeah, right. It's Barnett and Michaels, right? Either way.
It was actually Vaughn and Michaels was the fourth line today.
Was it? Okay. There you go.
They had Barnett on the third line. So they mishmash all over the place.
Right.
They had Suzdalev playing with some of the fourth line guys. They were all over the place.
Right, yeah.
So other guys time.
Exactly. Guy gets bumped. Guy takes a second shift on the fourth line, and then that screws up the next shift for his original line kind of thing, right? Yeah. Guys were kind of all over the map.
Yeah.
It seemed like Vallis was with Howe and Bedard for a while there too. So, but
yeah, they were mishmash a little bit there.
Yeah. So I don't know if they don't want to bring up like a Zacharias or not, or because it is longer term, or I don't know. Like they brought in Temple for a while and Allman. But so I don't know what the thinking is there, but it is what it is, I guess, and they just keep rolling 11 and 7.
Yeah, I guess. Well, getting the seventh defenseman,
I mean,
maybe helps out penalty kill wise. I don't know.
Yeah,
gives us Svozil and Brown and Harmony were both listed as day to day. They both played, of course, but maybe just to have them as just in case. Maybe I'm not sure what the reasoning is, but.
Yeah, I made a joke because they'd done that kind of that team bonding thing. They went curling, so one of them had an upper body and one of them had a lower body. I was like, oh, it was a curling accident or too much sweeping at curling. But it was good to see them both in the lineup, and maybe that's a guy Harmony we've seen now for a few games. And what do you think of his game so far? I think I've really liked it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. He hasn't really done anything too flashy one way or the other, so. I guess once he gets a little more in tune with the team. Yeah,
and he's still young. I mean, it looks like he can make a good first pass. He looks like he's confident skating with the puck. He kind of reminds you of somebody, doesn't he?
Well, his skating style reminds me of Hobbs. How he's like hunched over. He's not fast like Hobbs. Hobbs was pretty quick. He had a different skating style, but he just how he looks. He's kind of
Yeah, and once you mentioned it, I
Hobbs
was
a little
like,
bit.
it does, right? Like the way he does skate, he's got seems like a longer stick. But yeah, it seems like I've liked his game so far.
Just
so
how he lines up for face-offs, and like when he lines up when there's a face-off, it just looks like a left-handed shooting Hobbs. He's not Hobbs. Hobbs shoots. He used to shoot the puck like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Probably not
no,
quite that, but
for sure.
He tried to shoot it through the goalie, not at the net. He tried to shoot it through the goalie.
Yeah.
So.
Just knock a goalie and the puck into the net, right? So,
Yeah.
I guess yeah. So then rolling into next week, you got a quick game already on Tuesday in Red Deer. That's going to be a tough matchup. Red Deer's a hard team to play against, but the Pats have played well against them on the road and here in Regina. I mean, Red Deer, they got Ben King back. They're kind of they had the hot start. They kind of had a lull there after they lost Ben King, and they seem to be kind of back on the train again, I guess. Like they're 6-4 in their past 10. Nothing too fancy. They've only got 10 regulation losses. Second best in the conference.
They're still good.
They're still
no matter
good.
how you paint it, they're still good. If the Pats can play well against them and maybe pick up a point or two, it would be really, really, really impressive. But because in Red Deer, they're pretty good in Red Deer, so
Yeah,
it would be nice to get something out of that one.
It's going to be a tough game either way. And then you got
Actually, all four of the games will be tough games.
Yeah, exactly. It's a road trip. Road trips are never easy. You play with the Sunday game. You play 5 games in 8 days. That's not easy. You know, sure the first one was at home, but then you're on the road. So then you get the quick turnaround. You get Wednesday night in Calgary. Like I said, Calgary they've lost a couple games here lately. They're kind of hit and miss. They're kind of struggling along. They're 2-6-2 in their last 10. So they've kind of been on the skids lately. So, this is as good a time as any to...
One plus is they're only 8-3-1 at home. So that might be one of the pluses for the Pats going there.
Yeah, I mean, you look at them, they're playing their home games, sometimes the Saddledome, sometimes the Seven Chiefs Sportsplex. They don't have a home per se. They're kind of back and forth. That probably doesn't make things better for them either. And they got all the crazy start times too. At least this one is a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. So a normal one for the Pats. They're not playing at 11 or 12 or whatever after playing the night before. So that hopefully will help the Pats game out a bit. And then you got Friday back in Lethbridge. Now, Lethbridge, like I said, they just beat Winnipeg. They're kind of humming along, 5-1, 3-1. So they've been picking up points. They've only got 1 regulation loss in their last 10. They kind of just keep getting it done. I mean, Lethbridge, they kind of got a gift of a win against Winnipeg. Mason Beaupit made a terrible mistake and he was behind the net and he gave it right to, I can't remember who it was, on the Hurricanes, and he passed it right out in front to Swetlikoff in the back of the net, wide open net, like easy with, I don't know what the time was, but it was later in the third, and then Winnipeg had the goalie pulled, and the Lethbridge goalie, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he made an amazing save on Savoy, I think it was, backdoor, and held on to the win for the Hurricanes that night.
And with Lethbridge, they're a super disciplined team. They've only had like 537 penalty minutes, so the power play might not get too many opportunities there.
Yeah,
which is pretty much a key to the Pats because their power play is humming along. Like, I don't know, they're like 28% or something on the power play right now.
I'm just bringing it up. They are 27.2, good for 6th overall.
27-2. Yeah. And the power play seems to be, when the power play goes, the Pats go, it seems.
Yes.
Bedard and the power play, it goes, the Pats go. And if they don't get many power plays, they're I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore.
They struggle a little bit. I mean,
I'm still disappointed from that game today.
I know, right? I mean, they had 1 on the power play, 3 even strength goals. But Lethbridge penalty kills 80%, 9th best in the league, so it's not too shabby. And again, they don't have like a standout player or line like we've said on some of these other teams. They kind of are a committee as well, kind of scoring by committee. Yeah, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys with over 10 goals. And then it just kind of trickles down the list, nothing too fancy there. And then we go into Sunday, so they get a day off, and they head into back into Medicine Hat.
Medicine Hat.
Yeah, so Friday night, Saturday off, Sunday in Medicine Hat. And then we just seen Medicine Hat, so we know what they're all about. It's going to be, like I said, all these games are going to be tough, and they're going to have to find something here at the end of the road trip. Yeah, they got to find a way.
They got to find a way to get something out of these games.
Because you look at you
can't lose too many, because then they could be really on the outside looking in. I know there's still 20-ish games left by the time the road trip's over, but they need to pick up a couple W's at least. It'd be nice to pick up at least 3, but with how this third period went, hopefully, like after the game, they were talking to Rowan, saying that they've already forgot about this game. There's no way they would forgot about it yet.
No,
they won't let them forget about this, because they'll look at all the bad stuff and hopefully get everything changed for the rest of this trip.
Yeah,
for like the trip and the rest.
You got to bring up some of this stuff in this game that went wrong, right? You can't just forget about and be like, "Oh, whoops!" Right? No, you gotta find that discipline to lock down these games. Yeah, and
got to keep it simple. Period.
Yeah, exactly. Not get too fancy, especially later in the game. So we throw out a poll: the 5 games, including tonight. How many wins do you see the Pats picking up? So the most voted on choice was 3 at 35%. And I mean, if you get the Medicine Hat one at home, that, and then you only have to get 2, not only have to get 2, but you're looking 50% on the road trip, right? 500. If you can get 2 on the road minimum, that would be nice, right? So 3 out of 5 out of the stretch would be nice. But now to, to only go 500 on the road, you're only getting 2 out of 5 wins in this stretch, and that's not enough if you want to keep pace and stay in a playoff position.
Yeah, but hopefully they can learn from tonight and figure something out, because it's tough right away. You got Red Deer first, and Red Deer is a big, strong team that'll physically beat you down.
Right? Yeah, and then you play right away. You go into Calgary the night after, so it's gonna be a tough one. I guess so. Moving on, if you don't have anything else there, a couple things of note team wise. Apparently, there's going to be an athletic therapist opening. So the team has put out a job posting. So I don't know what the situation is there, but looks like they're looking for a new therapist. Now, Greg Mears.
I was shocked when I saw I was shocked when I saw that tweet. He's been with the team since 2004, something like that.
A long time, and he was with Moose Jaw before that. Was he not?
Been a long time. Yeah, he's been in the Western Hockey League like 25 or 26 years or something.
Yeah,
I don't know the exact number, but it's been a long time. He's been around for a very long time. But if whatever the deal is, hopefully he's found the dream job to move on from here.
If he's moving on, then hopefully, hopefully it's good that he's moving up in the world, or he doesn't have to, or he's not stepping back for some reason, some bad reason or something like that. Actually, one thing I forgot to point out, on the road here, all the games are going to be sold out, save for Calgary, but Calgary does have a 19,000 seat building, but it's going to be damn close to being sold out for Wednesday night.
There's a lot of sold tickets.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be 16,000 plus.
Crazy.
I think
Yeah,
it's going to be bigger than the
probably
Ted Bear
gonna be close to
toss.
the whole bottom bowl. It'll be up there for sure.
Yeah.
Because since we started recording, I double checked what tickets are available, and a couple of sections went from dark blue to light blue in that time frame.
Okay.
So
yeah.
like within an hour or so.
So if
they went from dark blue to light blue, so
if you actually go and look at the tickets that are available, there's less tickets available in the end that the Pats shoot on twice.
I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly, right? So when you look about it, it's there's only the top 2 rows in the upper bowl are available, and then at the other end there's like the top 4 rows available, and there'll be a few other singles here and there, but that's like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of sold tickets.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty crazy.
it's gonna be a wild crowd.
Yeah,
For a Wednesday. I know in Regina, a Wednesday night you can't expect a sellout, even when the Pats were really, really good. This is impressive.
Yeah,
very impressive.
Very. One other thing,
The traveling Bedards.
The traveling Bedards, yeah, the traveling road show
Bedards.
coming to a town near you. Yeah. John Paddock might hit 200 wins on this road trip. He needs 3 more by whatever count there is going. He's got 197, so pretty close to 200 wins. That's a decent milestone in this league, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it would put him 4th. Well, he already is 4th, but he'd be the 4th Pat coach to hit 200 wins in his career. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And then one other thing we should touch on before we go here. There is the behind the scenes video out featuring Bedard and kind of Jaeger. They were kind of the episode 1. We both watched it today. I thought it was all right. Something a little different. Getting, like they say, behind the scenes. So you see some dressing room stuff. You get some interviews with John Paddock. You get interviews with Mark O'Leary. And they talk about not just those players themselves, but they talk about the rivalry and in the games that they kind of highlight the opening home and home from the start of the season. There's a little shot in there. I mean, it was cut from, the game intermission, and Mark O'Leary's like, well, that's the way they play. You're going to have to go in the corners and you're going to have to take a punch from these guys. That was kind of funny. Just a little jab.
That was funny.
Yeah. But I mean, that's hockey. Funny. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of neat.
If you want to see any kind of, it's got some interesting behind the scenes stuff. It's not too in depth for like how stuff works behind the scenes, but it's interesting just to see how players are, how it's different, how the coaches interact with the players behind the scenes and stuff. It's interesting. Yeah,
and they show, I can't remember which coach it was with Moose Jaw, but they were showing on the whiteboard, okay, the Pats are doing this, do this, and then they're kind of showing, actually what they were thinking and setting up a play and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool, and yeah, it's only 25 minutes long, so it's not super long, shorter than one of our shows recently. So, but
what?
It's unfortunate though. The next one you have to wait almost a month, and then it features a couple other players.
The 23rd of February. It's a while.
I know, it's a long time.
It's almost a month.
So it's kind of a bummer there, but it's kind of a neat thing to check out if you haven't yet. But I think with that, you got anything else for this week? I mean, like I said, we want to see at least 2 wins this week, don't we?
Oh, for sure. I want at least 2 wins.
Yeah.
The Pat fan in me really wants 2 wins for sure. 3 would be nice. 4 would be amazing.
Yeah.
But they need some wins. They need points. They definitely, whatever points they can get, as long as it's
huge. Yeah.
More than 0.
Some loser points. Nice. It's better than none, right?
But they need points. There's still lots of season left, but they don't need to dig a hole. They need to build a mound to climb up a little bit, build some stairs instead of going down. They need to go up.
Exactly. You don't want to rely on those other teams having to lose like they did last year and then not getting into the playoffs, right? Because they're right there. Medicine Hat's right. It's tied with them. Brandon's 3 points back with the same amount of games played as Regina. Prince Albert's 9 points back, so they're a little ways back. But you look at that, Medicine Hat and Brandon are both on the outside looking in. So there's 4 teams there with current.
They have something to play for. So the Pats have got to maintain their position.
Yeah,
they don't really want to finish in 7th. Well, they want to finish in the playoffs, but I don't think they want to finish in 7th, because whoever finishes in 7th is going to end up fodder for Winnipeg.
8th,
like 4 and done kind of thing. Or
Yeah,
8th, yeah.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
want
against
to.
Winnipeg.
You want to finish at least 7th. You just want to stay out that 8 hole for sure, right?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, there's 4 teams there vying for 2 spots, right? So there's going to be some serious competition coming down the stretch here. But I think with that, we've kind of rambled on. That's a long time for a one game week, but there's lots to look ahead at, and we had lots to talk about. So, but yeah, so no games this week at home, so we'll be watching it on TV, and be 8:00 starts. Remember, time change, so don't tune in early, or like I did at the start of the year, tune in late, because the Manitoba time change. Late's always a little easier to handle than early. So, but with that, we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.
Have a good one.